Hi, I'm Greg. I'm the lead singer for Lipstick.
And I'm Steve. I'm the bassist.
And welcome to the Lipstick Panel, the weekly ranking show where Lipstick ranks stuff that is sometimes Kiss albums, sometimes not Kiss albums.
Mostly Kiss albums.
Mostly Kiss albums because, we get more downloads that way. Today's episode, we're going to be ranking the songs from Rock and Roll Over. Today's guest, we have returning to the program, one of our two older, wiser Chris's. We have Chris Cisnak from Despo Geek coming back to the show. Welcome back.
Happy to be back. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, I was talking with my wife the other day, and we had the guys from Pot of Thunder on, and one of the guys on that show is named Chris.
Yes.
And he's the oldest guy on the show. So I have two older, wiser Chris's in my life.
Okay.
And I was like, so wait, which older, wiser Chris is coming on the show? The first older, wiser Chris.
Oh, okay.
Wait, which one is he from? He's from the one that has that talks about Kiss, but not the other one that talks about Kiss.
The one that's obsessed with Vinnie Vincent. Just leave it at that.
Right.
Not to be confused with our other friend Chris, who has been a guest on this podcast and is older than Greg.
And was a guest on the one I was on.
Right. And is also obsessed with Vinnie Vincent.
That's
Right.
true. We both nerded out in Atlanta a couple months ago.
I have like 8 active Chris's in my life right now, and it is so confusing when trying to keep track of
It's
all
like
of
a
them.
Chris Army.
How many Chris's have been in Kiss?
Just the Peter.
And technically, that's a Chris Cola.
Right. Whatever. Close enough for rock and roll.
Yeah.
Refreshing Chris Cola? Wait, what?
Yeah.
Alright, so
That would be a good name for if you decided to do an Americana album.
Chris Cola?
Refreshing Chris Cola?
Yeah. No chance of that.
Alright, so the album we're talking about today is Rock and Roll Over, my personal favorite of the 70s classic era Kiss albums. This is a lot of people's favorite Kiss album. Destroyer is sort of the critics' favorite,
Yeah.
but you talk to Kiss fans and most of them will say Rock and Roll Over, at least from my experience. That's the one they all gravitate towards. Kiss themselves have said they weren't necessarily a big fan of how this album came out sonically. They said they wished it sounded a little bit bigger, more like Destroyer. They weren't happy with the drum sound. They weren't really happy with the guitar tone. I think it's great. I think if it was too heavy and too big, it would have taken away from some of the charm of this album.
Yeah.
Part of the reason it works, it's a little, for me as a whole, it's a little bit more laid back. It's like a good Joe Walsh record, where you put it on, you chill, you're partying, you're having a good time. There's enough energy where it doesn't drag, but it's laid back enough where it's a nice sweet spot, at least for me personally. But I understand if that's not necessarily everyone's sweet spot for Kiss. This one I have a lot of nostalgia towards because my dad, this was his favorite Kiss record.
Oh, cool.
And so on his stack of records, this was the one that I was at the top of the stack. I thought the album cover was very cool, and so this would be one where I would drop the needle on and listen to front to back and loved. So I've got a lot of nostalgia for it from that perspective. Steve, what were your thoughts on Rock and Roll Over after Destroyer, which was a big sonic leap forward?
See, hearing you describe it, it sounds like you and much of the Kiss fan community want Kiss to be Jimmy Buffett. And I listened to this album and was like, man, I just want Kiss to be like Emotron or somebody, just louder and screaming and weird. I want Kiss to be Horse the Band. I'm just going to reference a bunch of weird synthy bands that are Kiss fans probably don't listen to much of.
Certainly went over my head.
I want it faster and louder and weirder, and you're like, yeah, let's just chill out and relax. I didn't enjoy this album very much.
Really?
Well, so Steve,
I liked Destroyer a lot better.
Really?
Well, Steve is from a punk background, so he
Right.
likes stuff that's faster. This is definitely Kiss
But is
slowing down a
Destroyer
little
really
bit.
faster and screamier than Rock and Roll Over?
It's not really, but it was a heavier production.
Well, yeah. Bob Ezrin, brings in the heart. He makes things sound more dramatic.
It's a more theatrical album
Absolutely.
than Rock and Roll Over. Rock and Roll Over is more of a straightforward rock album.
Yeah.
Destroyer has a big theater edge to it. And also, the thing to remember, so Steve's favorite album is The Wall.
Okay.
So
Well, it's a Bob Ezrin album.
Right. So
That makes sense.
also
So Destroyer might end up being your favorite of the whole catalog that are done.
Got a long slog to go there.
Yes, you do. Although Revenge was produced by Bob Ezrin too.
I'm looking forward to I'm looking forward to music from The Elder because
I'm
I
sorry.
like rock operas.
Yeah, that's
one of the reasons I love The Wall is because, it's got this
And my
ridiculous
apologies
over-the-top
if I went over the deep end, kind of trashing the album.
I mean,
so much on
in
Facebook the
fairness,
other day.
so I made a Facebook thread the other day about The Elder, asking, "Hey guys, what do you think the plot of The Elder is? I have my own theory, but I'm interested if anyone else has like a synopsis."
I think mine was
And
the most accurate.
everyone just ragged on it. No one actually answered the question. It was just like,
No one
whatever,
did.
this album
It
sucks.
was the story of a band who had clearly jumped the shark, making an album produced by the guy who produced The Wall and trying to appease jerk-off critics. The end. That's the story of The Elder.
We'll get more into The Elder once we get to that episode. That's my favorite Kiss album.
And I'm sorry if I upset you.
I mean, whatever. The thing is, if you like The Elder, and it's like liking the Cleveland Browns. You know that everyone is going to just crap all over the thing you like. And you just need to just accept that as part of the territory, so you can't get upset about it.
And I know we're not doing an Elder episode, but I do have the book that Julian Gill wrote on it, and I'm halfway through it, and I'm completely enamored by every bit of it. Now, I don't like the album, but I'm completely loving that. I love that era of the band because it's just mysterious. Because the band hates it.
Honestly, I think if the album had been successful, they'd be singing a much different tune.
I totally agree. They'd be touting it as a masterpiece.
Yeah, so...
The thing that made us $1 million was brilliant somehow.
That's Gene and Paul. And every album is a cross between Destroyer and Revenge or whatever.
Right. Every album, basically whatever was the last album, sucked.
Yeah.
But the newest album is the best thing they've ever done.
It's like Destroyer.
It's like Destroyer meets Revenge. It's the best thing we've ever done.
So they're like Rivers Cuomo.
Right.
And that in the press for each upcoming album, he apologizes for the previous album and says...
I don't get why people do that shit. Be proud of all your work,
right? I mean, I kind of hate everything I did prior to about 2012.
But at the time, you loved it.
Oh, yeah. I had a sliding window of I like this project that I just finished, and the project before that, everything before that is garbage. And it wasn't until I sort of reached a base level of, okay, this is how you mix instruments that I actually can listen to anything old and be like, all right, that's still all right.
Well, do you know? Well, with Rock and Roll Over, do you know why they sound like they went back to the original formula on that album? There's a reason for that. And this one has nostalgic reasons for me. Not that I remember when it came out, because it came out literally a week before I was born. But
you young whippersnapper!
I know. But what happened was they put Destroyer out, and Detroit Rock City was the first single. And it did nothing on the charts. Nothing. It bombed. And at that time, and then this is before Beth became a single. And Beth was a B-side of Detroit Rock City. DJs made it into a single. The band did not want to make it a single. Detroit Rock City's not doing well. The album is tanking, and they're like, we just had all the success with Alive, and now this is tanking. They don't like the new version of the band. So we have to get back into the studio, go meat and potatoes, rock and roll, do like we did on the first 3 albums. That's why they recorded it the way they did with Eddie Kramer as the producer. But right in the middle of them recording Rock and Roll Over, which is a basic rock album, that's when Beth all of a sudden explodes all over the radio. And they're like, oh, wow, what do we do now? So Rock and Roll Over comes out, because they did 2 albums per year at that time. And that's why you have such a basic sounding album, though, because they were petrified that it was the wrong decision to do Destroyer.
Huh. It makes the fake out at the album sound like it seemed more intentional. If they'd already recorded it and then Beth got big, like, oh, well, that was a happy coincidence.
Well, yeah, the material was decided and everything, and Beth explodes, but that's also probably why Hard Luck Woman was chosen as a single,
right?
Because it worked for It worked for Peter for Beth, and which we'll get to that song. I know you know the story behind that song.
Oh yeah, so since we're talking a little bit about the history of the album, so just your history with Rock and Roll Over briefly.
As I told him the last time I was on, I got into the band during the non-makeup years for Crazy Nights, and then started buying everything, in order, or actually not really in order. But I think I bought this on cassette originally, and in like '89 or something. And I loved it right away. I mean, I love the cover it's one of the most striking album covers of all time, in my opinion. But
I think for me it's the best in the catalog in terms of.
You can make an argument for that.
That of the Elder.
The Elder's pretty awesome, though. Can't beat a brown wooden door
with a hand.
with a hand over it. No, Rock and Roller
Sounds like the cover for The Wall. Brown door, brick wall.
Pretty close. And the guy that designed the Rock and Roll Over album cover designed the New York Knicks basketball logo.
Huh.
Yeah. Same.
And
artist.
Sonic Boom,
And
which,
he did, yeah,
which is a crappy album cover.
Not a great cover. I appreciate the attempt on that one, though.
It's
Certainly better than Monster's cover. Good
I think
Lord.
Monster has a much better cover than...
It's a lazy ass cover. Let's just put the picture of the band on the front.
It's a cool photo of the band.
Yeah.
Like, Sonic Boom, the cover looks like someone did that in MS Paint. Like, or just Photoshop, they applied a cheap filter onto the band.
I'll agree with that.
And that could have been done in 15 minutes. That is a garbage album
I
cover.
agree. But
I mean, when it came out,
yeah,
Photoshop was pretty slow and old. It would have taken 2 hours.
It came out in 2009.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah, no, there's no excuse for how bad that album
no,
cover looks.
That would have taken 15
and
minutes.
the funniest part was like seeing all the fan made ones that just completely blew it out of the water. It's like,
Yeah.
like honestly, if I was a band on Kiss's level and you want to make it interactive, open up a contest to fans to design the new cover.
And, like, give
what a
them-
no-brainer of a marketing idea.
Give them a really, like, you get $100 for this, pal.
What if people do it for free?
It's not spec work if you make your fans do it.
Right?
I'm just saying.
As a freelancer.
Well, Korn did it with the issues. Korn did it with issues. Right?
As a freelancer who doesn't get paid very well,
But like that would have been a no-brainer. I don't
Yeah.
know. In this day and age, that's what I would do. But no, this album is hard. I don't know if I'm going to say it's my favorite of the '70s. It's either this or Dress to Kill. It's up there though. I don't know. And like I told you before we turned on the mics, it's damn hard to rank the songs on this album because I love every single song on this record. So it's going to be like I love this one, but I love this one a little bit less and a little bit less. So. Yeah. Although there's some real lyrical turds on this record.
yeah, there's definitely some solid.
Yeah, there were.
But I'm not a lyrics guy, which is probably why I'm a Kiss fan.
Well, I think with, this album is kind of one of the ideas of why we did the format of the show the way we're doing it,
Yeah.
is because we're trying to be a mostly positive podcast and just not necessarily say this is bad.
And you still wanted me to come back.
But like I said, the idea behind this podcast is to be positive, talk about art in a way that's, really just from a fan appreciation perspective. And so with the format this way, like, not anything on this is necessarily bad. It's just a way to organize our thoughts and make it
Right.
coherent for the listeners.
I am going to poke fun at some of the lyrics, though.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I've gone on record many times saying most Kiss lyrics are bad. I love Kiss. They're in my top 10 favorite bands. They're fantastic. Their lyrics are, for the most part, pretty bad. There are some great lyrics in the discography, like I, from The Elder. Great tune. It's My Life is a great song.
I'm with you there. That's one of my favorite songs.
Basically, anytime when Kiss is like, yeah, believe in yourself,
all, yeah.
follow your dreams.
They're a very Tony Robbins motivational style band.
Yeah, when they get into that,
If they're not talking about banging a groupie, they're talking about believing in yourself.
and
I believe I can bang this
There you
groupie.
go.
But Poison's "Cry Tough" is another one of those songs that fits into that territory. I really dig songs like that, and so when Kiss does that, I resonate with them very much. And even though I've honestly done a lot of the things that Kiss has said in their problematic lyrics, like I've done some problematic groupie banging. Like, all right, that's fair. I don't want to write lyrics about it though. It's like, yeah, I've done it, but I don't need to brag about it. It's like, all right, whatever. I did it. It's done. Let's
You've
move
ordered
on.
room service.
Does your wife listen to these episodes, Greg?
She doesn't. It's all in the
It's
past.
okay if you could use a meal, Greg. It's fine.
Right, that was my take on those lyrics. I thought that song was all about ordering room
it's
service
about
because he's
dinner.
hungry.
You gotta eat when you can,
Get your mind out of
right?
the gutter, people.
All right, ranking these songs. Coming in at number 10, the 10th best song
Right.
on the album. Love 'Em and Leave 'Em, coming in at number 10 on our ranking. So speaking of my wife, whenever she listens to the song, she doesn't think they're saying love 'em and leave 'em. She thinks the chorus is no more people.
No more people?
No more people. Because if you listen to the way they're enunciating it, you could totally hear it that way.
Yeah.
As somebody who
It's
is,
a dystopian song.
Yeah.
as somebody who has vaguely followed the volunteer human extinction movement, all right, I'm more invested in this song now.
Yeah, it's it's probably a cooler song with those lyrics. Kind of how
It absolutely is.
How Rip and Destroy is cooler than Hotter Than Hell. No More People. Like if you just had like a Cyborg Kiss album where it's just all those evil, post-apocalypse songs, that'd be
Keep
pretty
going,
sick.
you might end up getting a Cyborg Kiss album the way things are going.
Let's be honest. We all know that band is on the verge of breaking up.
Oh yeah,
Like,
well,
it's
I
just-
think you're going to see a Kiss 2.0 though. I do think it's going to happen.
Maybe.
It'll be like Rhapsody in Flames without the positive will between each other.
Now here's the question: If
I
there's
have
a
no
Kiss,
idea what that reference means.
Rhapsody's one of those long running power metal bands where they sing about dragons and going on adventures that after like 30 years the two main members were like, yeah, I think we feel like this band is going in different directions, so we're each going to start our own band and they're both going to be called Rhapsody. It's fine. We're friends.
Well, sounds like LA Guns,
right?
but they're not friends.
No, they're not.
It was the Christopher Lee worked with them when he started his metal career.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Were they the ones who did the music for it?
They might have done some of it. He probably got his connections through them, but he appeared on a couple of their albums doing like essentially narration. So like they played this fighting dragons kind of song, and then Christopher Lee like chimes in with, "Only the chosen one, Tim, could save the world by crossing the mountains of doom."
I like the Monty Python reference. Some call me
Tim the Sorcerer.
So here is my question about
We've gone
Kiss
way off the
2.0.
rails. Yeah.
Before we really get back to what we're supposed to be talking about, do you think that Kiss would be wise enough to just let Phil Schaus take over the Paul role?
I would hope so.
Because, like, he should.
He
Like,
absolutely
he is
should.
the guy for the job.
Yeah.
Like,
And I think Jeremy Asbrock could be the ace character.
I think honestly, you should keep Tommy and Eric in as the old guard. I think there should be a transition. My ideal idea for Kiss 2.0: keep Gene and Paul as songwriters and
Oh,
producers.
sure, yeah.
But
I don't
also-
know about producer.
But also let the guys write with them. So like
I would
allow
be for
Phil to write songs for the band, but still like involve them and like have them work together as a transition. That's what I would feel as ideal.
I would have 4 new guys, and Jeremy and Phil would obviously be in the mix. I would do
Look,
it on.
I would rather
but-
have Jeremy than
But
Tommy.
I would do it on a reality show, like the NXS thing, and have Eric and Tommy be the ones who decide who gets to be the 4 members of the band.
No, don't do that garbage. Just give it to Phil and Jeremy. Like, don't do
Well,
it in a reality show.
As a friend, yeah, I believe that, but I'm just saying for entertainment value, I think they should make it into a
In
TV
terms of
show.
what will make Gene and Paul the most money.
Do it as a reality show.
There you go.
Yeah, but like,
Gene's good friends with Mark Burnett. I wouldn't be shocked if it happened.
Ah, jeez.
I hate the world. All right, but love them and leave them.
Kiss Survivor.
Love them and leave them. Great song. Like all these songs are great.
This one lyrically is pretty bad, but it's a standard Gene groupie song from the back in the day.
So here's what I love about that statement. This song is lyrically pretty bad. It's a standard Gene groupie song from back in the day. That's like most of this album.
Well,
Like you could say that about.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I don't know. It's just for some reason it feels like with Gene everything the groupie songs just come off more goofy when Gene sings them, but when Paul does it, it seems like it's more serious or romantic. I guess I don't know. It's like when Gene does it, he just comes off like such a goof. I guess
It's because he's a bassist. Bassists are fundamentally unsexy.
sitting with 2 basses. I'm like,
Hey, I was the cute bassist, and I like a hair metal band. The cute bassist is a trope. So like, I'm not really that good, but I'm good looking, and whatever. I can play root notes. That's all you care about. So, but Gene was definitely not the cute bassist.
the solo on this song is pretty great.
Once again, that's going to be like every song on this album.
Well, then what are we talking for? We could just do a 1 song review and be done with
That's
it.
true. Do we have anything distinct to say about this song that's different?
Well, the video for it's pretty funny.
Oh man, like Gene's head bopping.
Gene, this is the most in character that Gene Simmons has ever appeared as the promo video for, and this well before MTV.
Yeah.
So they were doing these, I think, for the overseas markets. They would, or Don Kirshner's rock concert and shows like that. But no, I think it's the video is pretty funny to watch, but.
It is interesting that they picked this song to do a video for.
I
Out of
always
all
thought
the
that
songs
too.
on the album, it's like, all right, here's your music video.
It might be the least radio-friendly song on the whole record. It probably is.
But even though it's maybe the least radio friendly, it's still radio friendly. Like it's still
Yeah,
like
it's
catchy
pop
and got a
rock.
good hook.
Yeah, the whole album's a pop rock album.
Yeah, so I dig it. I think it's a cool song. I don't really have anything bad to say about it other than like, all right, the lyrics are kind of goofy, but whatever. That's status quo for Kiss. Do you have any comments on Love 'Em and Leave 'Em?
No, I had this one towards middle bottom. Just didn't particularly stick out. The things that were bad on this album, it didn't do worse than anything else, and the things that were good on this album, it didn't really do any more than anything else. I didn't think.
I had this one at 9.
Yeah, it was pretty low on. I had it at 9 myself, so I think that's what brought it down. All right, well, let's just move right along. Let's move on to Ladies' Room, coming in at number 9 on our list, the 9th best song on the album.
This
I
was
think
10 for
I
me.
think there's more we can talk about with this song.
Oh yeah.
All right, so as someone who's participated in bathroom sex is gross. It's a last resort thing. You don't.
It's better than nothing.
Right, that's why it's a last resort. I mean, like, if you're actually talking last resorts,
Yeah.
just don't
I've never
have
longed
sex.
to do it in
You're
a
probably
bathroom.
okay.
Yeah, I'll take a bed any day, but yeah.
Yeah. All right, so I do like that the drums were actually recorded in a bathroom. So that helps tie the song together. I like the
They're
cowbell.
like, we really need to be in the zone.
We need to be authentic.
Like, you really need to be thinking about banging in a restroom. Bang it out in a restroom.
So there was-
Drums. Ha
Which
ha!
album was more live, this or Kiss Alive?
Probably this.
Did they record everything in the restroom or just like
This wasn't, the drums were in a restroom and the rest was recorded like in a concert hall. So this wasn't done in a studio.
It was called the Nanuet Star Theater, and it was actually a theater where the stage was in the middle of the thing. It was like an in the round setup.
Okay.
And Frank Sinatra was one of the owners of the theater, but it was funded by a bunch of mafia people.
Mm.
I don't know why. I guess they recorded it there because they probably got a cheap rate for it to
Right.
record it. But they wanted the live feel.
Some
Weird.
kind of offer they couldn't refuse.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Weird that the thing that isn't a proper recording studio was cheap to book for recording an album.
Yeah, I heard.
Did they
it's
do
a-
the whole album there or just
Yeah.
the
Well,
Oh.
all the basic tracks were there, and then of course they did overdubs at Record Plant in New York, I think.
All right.
Yeah, but I heard it's at church now.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
So it's like the opposite of the Ryman.
Right.
yeah, exactly. Became a church.
Yeah.
I don't know. I love this. I love musically. I love the song. You know, it's I mean, lyrically it's bad, but this song's got a bit of a mystery to me because it was a concert staple for like 3 tours there in the mid to late 70s, and then it has never been heard live again.
Maybe Gene just had a really bad experience one time in the ladies' room. Like, he was having all this great ladies' room sex. And then one time, like, turns out it's a dude. And then he just got rid of that forever. But dude, she was hot.
Yeah, there's that joke. Wasn't Gene the one who came up with the term blumpkin for receiving oral sex whilst pooping?
I
gotta think if he did, it would have been a Kiss song title though.
Right.
Oh, that's true.
He also
Yeah,
would
he would
really
cash in.
bragged about inventing it. I invented the demon horns. I invented the term blumpkin. I invented rock and roll.
Orange juice.
Invented orange juice and toothpaste. Distinctly, people have perverted my inventions.
Right.
My Gene Simmons sounds like my Donald Trump for some reason.
Not far off. I don't know. When you hear a song about meeting in the ladies' room, what do you think?
I mean, I listened to these albums exactly one time while doing my rankings, and
Nothing's made the playlist so far.
Yeah, have there been any songs where I would seek this out on my own and enjoy listening to it?
not really, just because it's not really the style that I listen to that much of. Yeah. The big thing that stuck out to me on this one is I could sort of tell the lyrics were being pretty goofy, but I wasn't paying that much attention. But I liked the bass tone. That growly bass tone was a lot of fun.
And a lot of cowbell.
Yeah, I like cowbell a lot, so this is a great album for that. I don't know, this song actually, for some reason, this song I would play on loop when I was studying for Spanish in high school. I don't know why, but this was just my jam song.
El baño de los días. Wait, that's day.
I love your Gene do a Spanish version of Ladies Room.
And do it flamenco style, like Sack Tricks version of I'm a Legend Tonight.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's right. I went deep with that reference.
Yes, you did.
I own that record. Do you own that one?
I've heard it, but I don't own it.
All right, let's move on to the next song in our ranking. See You in Your Dreams. So, Steve, the exciting thing about this song, you said you didn't care for it much and thought it was pretty forgettable.
Yep.
You're going to hear this song again in the discography.
Oh, yeah?
Get ready to hear this when Gene covers it on his solo album.
Yes, he
Covering yourself
Yes.
on your solo? Why?
re-recorded it.
Yeah, get that album. You're gonna have fun once we get to those solo albums.
It's like this goofy song that's, a bad pickup line. It needs to be done right this time.
Yeah,
Was that one
I
that,
really don't think that I convinced this woman that she fell from heaven because her face is all messed up.
that's a great song. The guitar playing kind of sucks. Everything else is great.
On the solo version?
No,
He's referencing a Regdar, or referencing a Regdar and the Fighters song.
Oh, okay.
we're referencing a song that he did with an ex-lipstick guitarist. The one ex-lipstick guitarist who I don't like. Everyone else who has left the band, I'm pretty okay with, except for that one dude. So I was just making a snarky comment.
Right? But I needed somebody who could play eighth notes at 295 beats per minute for this song, so we called that guy out.
Right.
All right.
Then he recorded a bass line with eighth notes at 295 beats per minute. I was like, this is boring. And I recorded a slower and better bass line.
So, See You in Your Dreams. How do you feel about the lyrics on this one, buddy?
They're bad. It's a dumb pickup line. That being said, I ranked this one like number 5. Other than just the lyrics are bad, but they're inoffensively bad. They're dad joke bad rather than vulgar joke bad.
Right. Notice how, like, all these bad Gene, like, lyric songs are at the bottom of the list. Like, that's
Yeah.
kind of a trend I'm noticing.
Yeah, although I do have a Paul song that was lower than this one on my
Right.
list.
You know, these are still good songs. Like, there's nothing on this album is a bad song. in
No,
my
I like
opinion.
all of them. But that's, when you're in your room, you're home too soon. You don't think that's genius lyric writing?
You know, that's up there with anything Bob Dylan ever did.
Sure.
I would say, like, Neil Young's, Ohio, talking about, the terribleness of that school shooting is right on par with See You in Your Dreams. Like, totally like the same thing, right?
Right on par with, you came to my concert and saw how good I looked.
Right.
And now you're thinking about me while you fall asleep.
Yeah, same thing.
Go to the ladies' room and let's get it on. I don't. I like the song. I think it's. It's funny because like so many Kiss fans tend to prefer the solo album version to this one, but I like this one better than the solo album version.
I like this version better, but I'm going to be honest, I don't remember the solo album version. I don't listen to Gene's solo album that much. There's a couple cuts on that album I like a lot, like Radioactive and Mr. Make Believe.
Like the
Are my
Imagine Dragons
jams.
song?
No, the Gene Simmons solo song. We'll get to that. Like those
We'll get
two
to Imagine
cuts-
Dragons? I don't think we will.
I mean, we can do Imagine Dragons. We can start doing episodes about things you like. You just have to
What a
book the guests.
concept!
Like so when we had Pot of Thunder on, they were saying like your friendship seems to be just like you making Steve listen to stuff that you like.
That is just what it's. It is. It seems like what's going on.
That's
here.
part of it, but the thing is, I ask him like, "Hey, give me some stuff you like. Let me experience the things you like." He's just not as good about just actually doing
What
it.
do you like that you think he would despise?
Smashing Pumpkins.
Oh, okay.
That
You
is
don't
in
like
the
Smashing
queue.
Pumpkins?
Hey, Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness is great.
He likes Melancholy. He's
Yeah,
not
I-
enjoyed Gish.
Yeah, no,
Gish
Gish
is better than Melancholy.
Gish is.
Oh.
Well, tell you what, we'll have you on for that. We'll have you on for that episode.
Okay, I'll do it.
Cool. All right, we have the guest booked because I've been trying to do that episode for like months now, and you haven't booked a guest.
Sorry, the only people I know are the current owners of Smart Studios, who are like 4 generations removed from,
Yeah, I listened to that album 4 times getting ready for the episode, just to, like try to see if it would click with me.
Yeah.
And it never really did. And he was supposed to book guests for that episode so we can start doing more stuff he likes, so it's not all my stuff. And he never booked the guests. So there you go. I booked the guest for the episode, Steve. You're welcome.
Nice work. The trick is we talk about we're 2 bassists, but really, you're a vocalist. I'm a bassist. Because you're like, we got a project, we're going to get stuff done. And I'm like, just gonna show up and hang out, and you want to go do this? Yeah, sure, let's do that. I'll just groove here on my bass a little bit.
Steve, you want to listen to every single Kiss album?
Not particularly, but whatever.
Whatever, it'll get views.
But, no, I like Ace's guitar solo on this is good. I think Rick Nielsen played the one on the solo album.
I think so. I don't remember.
I don't know. I like the pop rock type structure of the song with like the call and response stuff and the little breakdown.
Yeah, no, that is really great.
I like that. It's a great song.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the stuff on this album reminds you why Gene is a great songwriter and also why he's a terrible songwriter, like simultaneously.
Yeah.
Like, man, these hooks are great. Oh man, these lyrics are bad. I don't know if you're a great songwriter or a terrible one, but I enjoy it, so I guess I'll lean towards great.
Right.
Well, it's the Elton John Bernie Taupin thing, right? Is it?
So really, does Gene Simmons just need to work with Bernie Taupin?
Yeah, probably.
Worked for Elton.
Actually, that would probably be pretty sick.
I'd buy it for sure.
Yeah, because like when Alice Cooper worked with Bernie Taupin, that was one of his best
From the
records.
Inside, great
yeah.
record. You know, he put Sirius in the set list on this new tour.
Nice. I love when he does that.
Do you know the Kiss connection to the song Sirius?
Bob Kulick?
No, well, it's really.
I just assume it's Bob Kulick.
It's more in my own mind, but I kind of picked up. But I've had other Kiss fans agree with me that I've talked to. Like at the end of where he says, "I took that Sirius," da 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 da, that little riff there.
Yeah.
It's any way you slice it.
Any way you slice it, that's the way. Oh, wrong song.
Well, that's a much better song.
Right. Man, that is.
But
Any way you slice it, that's just All American Man.
Yeah, same. Or if you want to go to that level, it's also "Burn" by Deep Purple.
There's only so many notes.
Yeah.
And also,
I was wondering
it's
when
also
you were going
Burn.
to say that, Greg.
if it's also Burn, isn't that also I Stole Your Love?
Yes.
Which is also We're Here to Rock You by Lipstick.
There's
only so many notes.
Also, Kiss "Hell or Hallelujah" is the same song.
I don't technically know any of these yet because
Right.
I Stole Your Love is next episode.
Oh man, Love Gun's gonna be fun for you, my friend. My wife got trolled pretty hard listening to that album, in particular the last track.
On Love Gun?
Yes.
What? Then She Kissed Me?
Yes.
What about
it? Just the tonal shifts on that album.
Like,
this is like a cute teenage love song.
It was a '60s song by a girl group.
Right. Versus like this is a song about my penis. But we're not going to do too many spoilers for the next episode.
What? There's songs about their penises.
You haven't heard Christine 16 yet?
Oh, I may have heard it, but I didn't retain
We're going to have some fun.
Back when you could get away about writing songs about screwing juveniles.
Right.
I saw you coming out of school that day. What the fuck?
So moving on, next on the list. Coming in at number 10, 9, 8, 7. Take Me. This is a cool tune. Got a very fun riff. It's one of the ones that is just fun to play on guitar. It's fun to listen to live. Whenever I see Phil Schaus and the dudes do their Kiss cover thing, this is one they pretty much always play, and it's a cool tune. Even back in high school, I thought the "Put Your Hands in My Pocket, Grab Into My Rocket" line was dumb.
Right? I was like, this is 78. That lyric had to have been a cliche by then.
Well, the cliche with a K.
Yeah, but even when I was a teenager,
CLIKHE, that doesn't make any sense.
yeah, no, it was dumb back then. It's dumb now. Honestly, that's the worst lyric in the song. If you just take that out and replace with something different, I could actually handle the rest of the lyrics. But the fact that's right where you go at the start, that's the impression you get. All right, your penis is a rocket. All right, great job, Paul.
I thought he just carried toys around in his pocket.
I'm really into aeronautics, you guys.
Yeah.
But I think it's a good song. It keeps the momentum going on the album. It's got good energy, keeps you moving. I enjoyed it.
Did you ever hear the demo for this one?
Yes, I have. It's
pretty
been a long
different.
time.
The drum pattern's completely different.
Yeah, I think ultimately the studio version is better drum wise.
Yeah, and this was one they broke this one out a couple of dates on the reunion tour, and I think the Chicago show had it, and you can watch it on YouTube, and it sounds amazing, but they only played it for 2 shows. And it's kind of one of those I guess the band doesn't like it. Paul doesn't seem proud of a lot of his output from back then.
You mean he wasn't very proud of the line, put your hand in my pocket, grab into my rocket?
no.
You think he might be embarrassed by that as like a
Just
50-year-old man?
Just because people are bringing little children and holding them up while he's singing that line. Great guitar solo. Lyrically bad.
What was that Hard Times article like? Aging punk musician Jimmy Butthole starting to regret his stage name. That's probably how Paul feels.
Not going to
about
be
some of
booking the
his
cruise
lyrics.
ship circuit like he had hoped.
Right.
Now appearing.
I'm told Kid Rock, like a decade or so, started to really regret his stage name. It was
Oh,
like,
really?
I'm like 50 years old. Why am I calling myself Kid?
He's Dad Rock now.
Ah! Ooh, that's harsh.
Yeah, I'm not worried about being harsh to Kid Rock. That's one. That's one divisive artist between me and my co-host on our show. He wants us to do the heavier side of Kid Rock episode. I said I don't want to do it.
I think you should do it just to get the different perspectives. Like, I think it's healthy just to discuss different kinds of art, even if you don't like it. And so, someone who really loves it versus someone who's not into it. It's kind of what we're doing with this show.
Well, I mean, I put up with his Ugly Kid Joe stuff, you know. But
I have mixed feelings on that band. I think they're remarkably okay.
Remarkably okay.
perfectly rated.
Right, it's just like, this is meh. Like, I enjoy it when it's on.
Yeah, certain songs I like.
Every now and then I might seek it out, but I'm probably not going to buy a CD.
Yeah, but I'll spend Winger and TNT and shit like that, and he's just like, what the fuck is this?
Whoa, well, like, all right, I can understand, like, hating on the first two Winger albums, but Pull?
Pole's a great record.
Like, come on.
I'm actually supposed to go on another show and talk about that record.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
It's a great record.
Yeah.
We should be talking about that.
You should get Paul Taylor over to do that one.
Maybe. I mean, yeah, I'll ask him. All right, but back to Kiss, the band we're supposedly talking about with all these tangents. You know, maybe part of the problem with this album is, like, this is, out of all the Kiss albums, the songs flow together the most. This is a very cohesive album. It all kind of fits the same groove and vibe. And so because of that, it's hard to talk about each song individually and what they do different.
Yeah, because they all kind of work together.
Right. So that's probably why we're going off on so many tangents.
I'm sorry to do that.
No, I mean, whatever.
Derail.
That's how
But
how
I
it
can say
goes.
great guitar solo, bad lyrics for every one of these, and
I'm-
I still love the song.
I just assumed we were going off a bunch of tangents because this album overall is a little meh and boring to me, so we're going off
I
on
would
different,
say
more
that.
interesting topics.
I think it's a great album, but I can understand it not resonating with someone. If, like, it's like AC/DC. If you like the one song, congratulations, you're gonna love the whole discography. They've got one song.
Until you get to Big Balls. And then you're like, what's this?
Right. But
That's a
with
great song.
with this album, it's kind of just one song. And if you like the one song, congratulations, you'll like the whole album. If you don't like the one song, then yeah, this album isn't going to do it for you. You just have to like the one song. So, speaking of a song that's pretty much the same thing as the last one we were talking about, coming in next on the list is Making Love.
Yeah, this didn't rank real high for me. I think the song is overrated among a lot of fans.
I like it a lot. Like, the riff is fun. I think it's a good riff. I like the acoustics, the acoustic guitars they have during the song.
I do like that.
Lyrically, this is very problematic because this definitely contributed to rape culture in a huge way.
That's pretty much what he's
I
singing
just
about.
hate when the girl says wait. You know, she says stop, baby, go, go, go.
Yeah.
No, that is rape. That is rape.
It's
Paul
a song
Stanley.
about rape.
Like that is awful. Like it's a cool song. It's got a great riff, and if you just did different lyrics about like, yeah, I was having really hot sets with this girl all night, and it was awesome. We did all the different positions. That's great. Good for you. Have some fun sex. Sex is fun. It's great. But like this is straight up raping a girl.
Yep.
Like no, rape is bad. Like. She says stop, baby, go, go, go. No, she says stop. You stop. You respect a woman's wishes. That's so bad.
This is Kiss's contribution to the Me Too movement.
It's so problematic. Like you can't defend that.
They wouldn't get away with this song now if they put it out.
And you shouldn't. You shouldn't. That is terrible. It is all kinds of wrong. It is bad. The music is kick ass though.
See, now I feel bad I put this one at like number 3.
Did you?
Because
Did you not read that much into the lyrics?
by the time I got to this point, I was just numb and I wasn't listening to the lyrics anymore. I was like, all right, this is a good, solid riff rock closer for the album. This seems appropriate. All right, nice work.
And like he kind of doubled down on the rape part of it because on the studio track, you know, it says by my side the whole night through, do all the things that we want to do.
Mm-hmm.
But live he'd say, do all the things I want to do.
Oh yeah, he
So
does
it's like,
do that.
yeah, so he's like
Do
really
all the
doubling
things that
down
I
on the
would-
rape.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. This is
Paul Stan-
honestly
did Paul
Gary
Stanley
Glitter should
drive
have
a-
covered this song.
Did Paul drive a van around in the 70s that said free candy on the side?
All right. So
I could picture a Kiss song called "Free Candy Van."
Sounds-
No, that sounds like a David Lee Roth song.
Yeah, it does. I'm a candy man.
all right. So does anyone else have any comments on "Rape" the song?
Also live, he hardly ever said the word making. It was just love, love, love.
They hardly typed the word "making" out here. They missed some letters.
Yeah.
The missing G. that
They hate
continues
the letter
throughout
G.
album.
They hate the
really
letter
hate
G.
Yeah, no, but musically it's great. Oh, it's a complete takeoff of Communication Breakdown by Led Zeppelin.
I'm fine with that. It's them wearing their influences
Yeah,
on their
and-
sleeve, as Steve has talked about in previous
And
episodes.
Paul was a massive.
As I'm going to talk
Zeppelin
about
fan.
later on in this episode.
Well, my number one song is also a Zeppelin ripoff. So, yeah, but no, great song, horrific lyrics.
Yeah, this is. I would say this is, in terms of Kiss lyrics, one of the most underrated in terms of how horrible the lyrics are.
Pretty bad. Gene gets a lot more hate, and Paul wrote maybe one of the absolute worst ones ever.
Like, and it's not that.
And it was written during the glory days.
Yeah.
too.
Like with this song, it's not that like the lines are stupid and not clever like a lot of Gene's lines. It's just like this is just very problematic. This is just very
It's
bad
awful
culturally.
understanding of. To be fair, it was the late 70s. Guys had, there was no sense that we should be teaching our young men that, like, hey, remember, consent is an important thing.
No.
It would be a little bit unfair to expect Kiss to be the vanguard of
Oh, no.
third wave feminism.
Quite the opposite.
I mean, I get that. I guess viewing it through a modern lens,
Right.
It's very
These lyrics
problematic.
did not age well.
Right. Coming up next on the
The
list.
statute of limitations did run out on the lyrics, though.
Oh dear. Our jokes won't age well. We're all going to jail.
The fact that I use the word statute is bad enough.
I mean, that's
a
definitely
different song.
statutory.
That's the next album, isn't it?
Yeah, Christine 16. Don't blame me. I didn't write them.
All right, we're at the
She's in her 50s now. It's fine.
right.
Christine 60.
They need to do that. The
She's
same
all
way
grown
that,
up.
Same way that Alice Cooper needs to change the lyrics time 18
When I saw you
when he hits
wheeling out of the
80.
Yeah, he
nursing
needs
home
to
that
sing
day,
"I'm
I knew.
18."
I'm 80 and I don't know what I want. Literally, I forget. I don't
yeah.
remember what I want
Who the
anymore.
fuck am I? Where am I? Who are you?
Is it time for my medicine yet?
Speaking of medicine, next up on the list is "Calling Dr. Love." How about that for a transition?
You guys
sick.
must have hated this song. 'cause
I hated it.
I ranked this one real high.
I rank this as my number 2.
This is my number 3.
So I ranked this one at the way bottom. I'm the outlier here because this was one that I was surprised to discover that the recording doesn't sound like the version of the song that exists in my head. So this is one of the few that I was familiar with because
okay.
this is one of the ones that everybody knows, Calling Dr. Love.
This
You've
gets
seen it
airplay,
in
yeah.
however many different random... If a movie ever needs to be like, people are partying in the late 70s, early 80s, Calling Dr. Love is on the list of songs they're listening to.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't really listen to it. And then I sat down and listened to the actual version. It was like, everything is low energy. Like the vocal delivery is... The background vocals are half-hearted falsettos. The drums are mixed like really quietly with no kick to them, and the bass and guitar just sort of sterile, straightforward, dugga kind of. It was just this version of it is really boring.
Oh, I love this version.
Yeah, so as far, to address some of your points, I think Gene's vocal is subdued and not his usual growl that he does. It's kind of more of a speak vocal rather than a sing vocal. And I think it works for the song. I think it's Gene being a little bit more seductive and it actually working for me. As far as cheesy Gene trying to be seductive songs, this works better for me. I like the falsetto vocals because it kind of sounds like, you know, a nurse calling a doctor over the speaker, which is the effect they're going for, so I like that. I think the drums on this are great. I love the intro when Peter comes in. I think that drum part is great. I think he's got a good groove
it's a
to
great
it.
drum part.
It's one of Ace's best solos in the 70s.
That phase effect on it. Yeah.
You know, as a musician, like, you know, this was one of the songs I used to jam on a lot when I was in high school, one of my early cover songs. Listening to it now as a more sophisticated musician, it's incredibly simple.
Yeah.
And it's more simple than I would think to write. And, like, the guitar riff, like, by itself is kind of boring, but it works, and it's still good. I enjoy it quite a bit. It's a Kiss classic, and I think, you know, you and I were talking about this earlier. With a lot of Kiss songs, you don't really hear the studio version in your head. Mm-hmm. You sort of hear an amalgamation of, like, the studio version plus the live version plus how you want it to be in your head. So, like, when I hear Deuce in my head, I don't hear the studio version. I don't hear
Studio
Kiss
version's
Alive,
terrible.
and I don't hear Live 3. I just kind of hear my own version of Deuce. And certain Kiss songs, you just hear your own version in your head, and then you hear the studio version, and it's a little bit of a letdown.
Yeah.
And so maybe for you, that's what Dr. Love
that's
is.
what this was. There's probably some, like, I don't know, Avenged Sevenfold cover that I heard that I'm picturing, like, the good production that had with some of the sense of, like, Kiss's actual energy and,
Right.
you know, not being Avenged Sevenfold.
Obviously, they raked up the energy on the Alive 2 version of it. It's like twice as fast, but I don't know. I like the groove that the studio version gets into on this song. It's I guess it's laid back, but Ace's solo is this is probably his best solo on the whole album, in my opinion. One of his
I would
his
agree.
most well written, crafted solos. If you don't know the story of how Calling Dr. Love came about, they were on the road. They were staying at a Holiday Inn somewhere out in the Midwest, and he was watching Three Stooges reruns. And they had one where they were playing like orderlies or doctors in a hospital, and the woman comes over the intercom. She goes, "Dr. Howard, Dr. Fine, calling Dr. Howard, Dr. Fine, Dr. Howard," and he's like calling Dr. Love. So that the Three Stooges are the reason this song exists.
They saw a Three Stooges bit about somebody calling a doctor, and they were like, "Okay, but what if doctor was a euphemism for my penis?"
Exactly.
So here's another thing that
I put a little lab coat on it. What do you do with that tongue depressor? No.
so
You don't need a tongue depressor for that guy.
So a thing I appreciate with the demo version of Bad Bad Lovin', which was kind of like the precursor to this song, I like how it was more Gene's natural wheelhouse lyrically, where it was more Beatlesy, where it was him pining for a woman and him being the one like trying to win her affections. I need your love so, so bad.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he was asking for her, but then to make it like, I'm Kiss, you know, we're superheroes and I have a giant ego, it's, you need my love.
Yeah.
It's interesting to hear, like, what his natural frame of reference is and what is the more calculated, I'm trying to be Kiss.
Well, it shows
method.
how much a lot of it's an act with him.
Yeah. So I don't think he's nearly... I think he's cocky and egotistical, but not to the extent he...
No, a lot of that is totally played up.
Right.
Much to his detriment now. It was funny because back in like the 70s and 80s, you were viewed cooler the more of an asshole you were.
Right.
And now it's like the biggest backfire you can have.
Yeah, but it's
I mean, he's still a millionaire. He'll be fine.
Yeah,
Oh, I know he
right.
will, but it's just funny how the way your image projects is different these days than what it was back in the day.
Yep.
All right, so coming in next on the list, coming up pretty high, and I'm pretty excited about it. It's a Peter song, "Baby Driver."
I love this song.
Song's great. Peter's great.
This is
I
my
don't
number
care
4.
I don't care what the haters say. I love Peter Criss.
Me too.
Dude's awesome.
Absolutely.
I ranked this one pretty high because, you know, I feel like much of this album was middling, but this was on the solid end of that sort of thing where, like, even with the less over the top production, the more more garage rock, less high energy arena thing. Like I think like this was still an energetic song. The drums were at a level that actually drove things forward, and it was more interesting to me than a lot of the rest of the album.
So I have a question for you. Are you at the point where you're kind of noticing the difference in the vocalists and their songwriting? Have you gotten to that point yet?
No, not really.
So, did you recognize this as a different singer when you heard it? Or
Nope.
Maybe once we get to the solo albums, we have 10 songs in a row by the same dude. You're like, all right, I think I know who's who now.
Maybe. I make no promises.
Yeah, but I mean, I love what Peter Criss brought to the band, and honestly, I wish...
Drugs?
Well, yes, but, I wish more bands had, like, members coming from slightly different musical backgrounds and bringing in those influences and working together as a unit.
Yeah.
I love the swing, background that he brought to the band, and all that stuff really helped make early Kiss a very unique band and gave them a distinction from other bands in the 70s.
Right.
And plus, his vocals are great. That raspy vocal is just fantastic.
I think he's the best singer of the 70s era of the band, for sure.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Because, Paul didn't really start to come into his own until the 80s. Because a lot of the stuff... Actually, Paul Stanley's vocals remind me a lot of my vocals, where like, oh, the idea is there, but you did not really nail that.
He didn't know what he was doing back then. Although, as much as I don't care to go see them live now, they should dip more back into that catalog because it's way easier to sing than the other stuff. This song, this is one of my favorite songs on the record. It ranked number 4 for me. But if you don't know, like, Kiss diehards hate this song by and large. This song gets a lot of hate.
I don't know why.
And
like, it's
people
not...
just trash it regularly, and I'm just like, I think it's a great song. It's got a good, solid riff. Peter's vocals are awesome. The guitar solo is great. The drumming's good. It's almost one of the more punk rocky sounding songs on the whole thing. It's a little bit angrier. But like it gets trashed all the time.
Yeah, that makes no sense to me. Why this song would get trashed? Like when you have something like Great Expectations exist, and you're going to trash this song. Like this is great. Like this isn't any like better or worse necessarily than anything else on this record. It fits in fine. It's a cool riff rocker. It's just like, I think honestly, if you had Gene singing it,
Gene did it on the demo,
right? But if you had Gene singing it, no one would be hating on.
You think it's more just because it's a Peter song?
I think it's because it's a Peter song, and there's just the
stupid.
Whatever. He's not the the cool metal rock guy. He's the wimp who sang Beth.
It's also got saying Black Diamond, Nothing to Lose, Get Away.
Strange Ways,
Mainline.
Yeah,
some great songs.
Peter's great. Haters gonna hate, but this song is great. I don't care what they say.
Love it. I'm glad that you guys both liked it too. That's cool.
Yeah, I'm always gonna be a sucker for Peter songs. I actually ranked it a little bit lower on my list, but that's because there's so many great songs.
Yeah, they're all kind of interchangeable.
But it's all great.
Yeah.
It probably helps from my perspective that there's always going to be a little bit of a subconscious thing in my mind where the song Baby Driver has the same name as the film Baby Driver that had that pretty great Run the Jewels song in the soundtrack.
I still can't believe they didn't use the song in the soundtrack.
They didn't. I was just looking that up.
It would have been cool.
That would have been great.
If I were a really big fan of this song and saw that film and they didn't use it, I would be very disappointed. Same way that when I saw that movie Tusk. Like the entire movie is going on. Like, when are they going to play the song?
There
it is. Okay, all right.
They do play it.
They do play it.
At the very end, it was like, okay, all right, you guys saved yourselves.
Right. All right. So we're getting to the top 3.
All right.
This one that's up on the list is considered by many to be one of the most underrated in the Kiss catalog.
I know where you're going.
Yeah, we all know where we're going. It's Mr. Speed.
Yep.
Coming in at number 3 on the list.
This was my number 2.
Yeah, so this is... Alright, full disclosure, T-Rex did it better.
Was this a cover? Or did T-Rex
No, but it's a blatant Mark Bolan ripoff.
Yeah, no, it's a pretty obvious Mark Bolan ripoff. But it's still a great song.
It totally is.
It's got just a lot of fun riffs. This is a really fun one to play on the guitar. Another laid-back song. the title is definitely very weird for how laid back it is.
That was my big complaint about it. Is it if you're gonna call your song Mr. Speed, play it fast.
But I mean, as a song,
The
it's
fact that you wonder if it's about premature ejaculation.
I don't wonder. Again,
I don't think you want the ladies calling you that.
This was
Right.
early enough in the album that I picked up on I'm so fast the ladies call me Mr. Speed.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's I don't think that's what you meant.
That's not a good thing.
I think it's more of I can seduce them so fast they call me Mr. Speed.
right.
Probably what
Get
they're
them into
going
bed
for.
quickly.
That's not what they said though.
Right.
But
No.
Kiss's audience wasn't known for really reading through a lot of stuff.
What?
I am counting myself among them.
How many Kiss fans do you think tried to use that as a pickup line?
Baby,
Mr.
I'm so
Speed.
fast they call me Mr. Speed.
You know, right after
No thanks.
you're gonna see me in your dreams tonight fell through.
Would last longer.
Come meet me in the ladies' room. They call me Mr. Speed because I'm so fast.
Put your hand in my pocket.
Kiss, the soundtrack of /r/incel.
So I'm from Cleveland. There is a somewhat prominent Kiss tribute band called Mr. Speed from
Oh, yeah.
Cleveland. They're a really good band. We actually had the former drummer from Mr. Speed on our Kiss Alive episode.
I've listened to most of that now.
Yeah, so
Bill Andrew.
and they, to their credit, they play a lot of deep cuts. Like, guess what? We're gonna play Hate. I'm like, all right, this is sick.
Yeah.
Do it. So there's a lot of affection of that song from seeing that band a number of times, but it's a great song. It's underrated in the catalog. It has a cool groove. It's fun to play. It fits the album very well. I can see why they don't play it live so much because it is just a mid-tempo, just like chill and groove kind of song where it doesn't necessarily fit giant arena show. All right, let's all just like relax for a little bit.
Yeah, I guess it is a bit of a subdued number.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
this is a cool record to just like put on, like hang out with some friends and just like listen to it in the background while you're just hanging out. It's a great album for that.
That doesn't seem like Kiss's wheelhouse.
Not
I almost-
necessarily, but I
yeah.
think it works very well that way. It's a cool album to listen to as a cohesive piece. But yeah, it's not necessarily the gigantic arena rock Kiss on this album.
I always, and the Mark Bolan thing is well placed, but I also hear a bit of a Rolling Stones vibe in it. Like the drum part sounds like a Charlie Watts drum part.
Which is because they're ripping off Mark Bolan, who was ripping off the Stones.
That's true.
So
I guess,
it's
yeah,
just
it's just a chain.
right.
Um,
And then when the Stones also ripped off Mark Bolan is when it got weird.
When did the Stones rip off Mark Bolan?
It's only rock and roll, but I like it.
Oh, I guess. Well, yeah. That's
Yeah, that is straight
Yeah,
up
that's definitely a T-Rex song.
like they like stole the T-Rex guitar tone and everything. Like, all right, so
Yeah, it's 20th Century Boy.
yeah, it is weird how many people ripped off T-Rex in the 70s.
Oh man.
Well, it's because their arms are very short; they can't catch you.
Have you ever seen that Mark Bolan documentary called The Last Word?
No, I haven't seen it.
Really good. I think it's on Hulu. I don't know. I also have the Night Flight app. Do you ever remember the show Night Flight?
I don't.
Oh, you're too young for that.
Yeah, I mean,
It was
I
on the
am
USA
just
Network.
a boy.
Oh God! It all comes back to the elder, doesn't it?
My favorite Kiss album, unironically.
I know. And you're not in a mental institution.
Right? Well, not anymore.
Not yet. But no, it was a music show on USA Network in the '80s. Come on, in the middle of the night, similar to Headbangers Ball. But no, Mr. Speed. I don't know. Did you ever see that footage from Australia during the farewell tour?
Yes, where they jam and they end with Mr.
Has
Speed.
he seen? Have you seen this?
No.
If you want to see actual awkwardness between the members on stage.
Oh, that's great. Where Ace is just
Yeah.
like refusing to play the set list and
Yeah,
just
like
jamming
they,
on whatever.
They're playing and they stop and then Ace just starts playing what the fuck ever. And if you know Kiss, they don't do that shit. Like they hate anything that's off the script. So Ace just does one riff after another, and at one point he stops playing, and then Gene and Paul are talking to each other, and then Gene gets on the mic and goes, "What does the Ace Frehley band want to do next?" And then Ace starts playing something that
Oh yeah,
Gene would never remember.
he's playing Rocket Ride,
Which is
and
on- yeah,
he's
which-
giving Gene the look like "fuck you,
Fuck
try playing
you!
this."
I know you can't play this because you don't remember it. But during that period, Paul gets into the act and he starts playing Mr. Speed, and they go through like a verse and a chorus of that.
Yeah, because Paul
He was having fun with it.
Paul had fun with it. It was like, you know what? okay, this is already awkward, but I'm going to have fun
Just
with
have
it.
fun with it. But yeah, like, if there's one thing I could change about Kiss, it would be stop being so damn scripted all the time.
Have some spontaneity.
Yeah, it's like you're wearing clown makeup and 7-inch heels. Just have fun.
What? Like a glam rock band just having fun on stage?
Yeah,
No
I
way.
thought that. Talk about a band that, like, internally, nothing like they look on stage.
Yeah, it's...
They're so serious.
Yeah, it's very odd how serious they are with songs about putting hands in your pockets
Yeah,
and
it's
coming
like-
on the rockets. But we're very serious
Hanging
about
outside of
our
high
dick
schools.
songs. No, I'm really looking forward to talking about Love Gun on the next episode.
I know. I'm wishing I was part of the Love Gun one now.
Do you want to come back to that
I
one?
wouldn't mind because I want to hear his take on some of these songs. Pay more attention to the lyrics. There's gold in those lyrics.
Oh, man. I dropped out of school when I was 22.
Yeah. Was it 35 Chevy on a 55 frame?
There
Can't
is-
even spell my name.
Yeah, there's some great lyrics coming up.
Peter.
What I love, we'll get into
But yeah, all the
later.
Peter love might come to a screeching halt in
Right.
the next one.
Alright, so speaking of Peter, number 2 song on the album,
Yeah, this was
Hard Luck Woman.
I love this song.
Song's great. I know that a lot of like the Kiss diehards hate this one too.
It's a really well written song and a
Yeah.
well performed song.
Yeah, it's great. Like, stop the Peter hate. This is fantastic.
Got a really distinct Rod Stewart vibe
Ah!
from this one.
Do you know the story?
No.
Paul Stanley wrote this song for Rod Stewart. The producer talked him out of pitching it to him. He wanted to write a Maggie May Part 2.
Yeah,
So he just like did his best.
The producer's like, no, we're giving this to Peter.
yeah. Then basically, like, Paul just wrote a song as an exercise. Like, I'm gonna try to write a song for Rod Stewart, and was really happy with it. His producer heard it. It's like, no, this is a hit for us. Don't give it to Rod Stewart.
I'm so happy he said that.
I mean, how can you not notice he's like doing the raspy voice?
Yeah, it's a total stab
But in
at Rod
fairness, like,
Stewart.
that's just Peter's normal voice.
Yeah.
That's just how
Yeah, he
Peter
really didn't
sings.
change his delivery to do that. But he just he sounds like it. I think I remember I was reading one of the books where Peter said he was in a limo and with some record executive and the song's on the radio. And he goes, "What do you think of the song?" He goes, "Yeah, that Rod Stewart's something else, man." Great song.
Yeah, this is honestly, this is just well written all around. Like the lyrics are good, which is a refreshing change of pace for a Kiss song.
So the trick is they need to write their lyrics as if they were writing for better artists
Better
than
artists.
themselves.
Yeah.
I'm not saying Rod Stewart's better than Kiss.
No, I'm not going to say Rod Stewart's better than Kiss either. But I mean, this is first of all, I think it's one of the reasons I like Kiss is that they're doing different things, and it's not just like AC/DC where it's the same thing all the time. Don't get me wrong, I love AC/DC.
I do too.
But a big part of the appeal for a band like Kiss or Alice Cooper or Thin Lizzy is like
Yes.
they're constantly evolving, constantly changing, and constantly trying new things.
Yeah, this makes
It
it
doesn't
interesting.
always land, but I appreciate them trying. Like Great Expectations didn't land at all, but I appreciate that they went for it and tried it.
Well, Bob
And-
Ezrin did.
and right, and but also, as bad as Great Expectations was, you had Beth, which is
Yeah.
just one of the best pieces of music ever recorded,
No,
in my opinion.
for real?
Yes.
Okay.
I think
it's
that,
a well-written song. I don't know if it's one of the best ever.
I think that song like transcends the band and is like above Kiss, personally. And Hard Luck Woman is kind of the sequel to
I
Beth.
think Hard Luck Woman should have been a much bigger hit than it was. I'm kind
Well,
of surprised it wasn't.
They didn't use enough payola for it.
Yeah, you're probably right.
But yeah, Hard Luck Woman, it's a great song. It's beautiful. It's another song that I played a lot in my early days. I like when Karabi sings it every now and then. He does a great version with it. But it's a great song, and once again, refreshing to hear Kiss do something different. Like have them just do a straight acoustic song.
It's one of the only songs they've used a 12-string on, I believe.
Yeah, and it's a great song. I don't really have anything bad to say about it. I know Paul gives Peter a lot of crap, like, oh, I had to sing a guide vocal for him. Like, well, yeah, of course you have to sing a guide vocal for, like, a new song that...
It's a song that you wrote.
Yeah, like,
Of course, you're going to know in your head what it's supposed
you're
to
going to
sound
know the
like.
melody versus someone who's never heard the song before. Yeah,
But
give
let's
him a
face
guide
it,
vocal.
Peter sounds way better singing it than Paul ever will.
You have to either give him a guide vocal or like sheet music.
Right?
Take your pick.
And I'm pretty sure Peter Criss can't read sheet music, so give him a guide
You heard the
vocal.
story about before he got fired? With taking the drum lessons from Jim Chapin and then showing up with a music stand and music and everything. Like,
Yes.
saying I need all of our songs on charts now because I read music now.
Yes,
And they were like, you don't read music, you dumbass.
I have them memorized, but I need them on charts.
Yeah, I need charts for all our songs. They're like, you've played these songs for 5 years. What's the problem?
Right. But any other comments on the song?
Have you heard the Garth Brooks version?
No.
It's actually really good. It makes a great Garth Brooks song.
Yeah, it's basically just the same song, but sung by Garth Brooks.
Garth Brooks. Well, are you going to do "Kiss My Ass" for him to go through that too?
Maybe. I mean, he liked
Yeah,
the track. That's the '90s album.
It's a tribute album.
The one that's so '90s.
Nice.
That had Mighty Mighty Boss Toad.
Toad the Wet Sprocket.
And Toad the Wet Sprocket. It's Stream.
Oh, man.
Lenny Kravitz,
Gin
Garth
Blossoms.
Brooks, Gin Blossoms.
That is very 90s.
Oh, it's all '90s bands, yeah.
Yeah.
But Garth Brooks, he wanted to be part of it because he grew up a Kiss fan, and he wanted to do "God of Thunder," and Gene was like, "We're not having you do "God of Thunder. That's just not going to work." And then they said, "What about Hard Luck Woman?" He said, "I'll do it." And on that one, the band actually flew here to Nashville and recorded as his backing band on that.
Huh.
It's worth listening to. I think it's probably the standout track from the tribute album.
I would say the standout track is definitely Black Diamond by
Well, that too.
That's
In my opinion, Black Diamond's the greatest Kiss song ever written.
Yeah, it's
I mean,
good.
that's still where I am, at least
Is it?
on the studio albums.
Yeah.
I like doom metal.
Right. You like the doom.
Oh, you like the end where they're yeah.
Like, all right, I'm into this. I'm sold.
So you like it because they slowed the tape machine down. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, standout tracks on that Deuce, Lenny Kravitz, and
Yeah.
Stevie Wonder just jamming.
Yeah,
that's
Stevie Wonder
great.
doing a harp
And
solo.
the Calling Dr. Love on that album. That's a great troll cover.
Well, that's one of them that I hated at the time, but now that I listen to it now, I actually like it a lot.
Oh no, I just love
It had
how
to grow
weird
on
and
me.
inaccessible.
That's got
it is.
members of Rage Against the Machine, Tool, and Soundgarden. Maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah, like 3 different bands.
Oh, jeez. That sounds
Like the
tremendous.
singer for Tool, the guitarist from Rage Against the Machine. So you've got all kinds of wacky riffing. It starts out like the regular song, and then it just goes off into like the Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
Anyway,
All right. Anyway, back to our list. Man, we go off on a lot of tangents on this
Sorry.
album. No, I mean it's fine. I think it sort of speaks to just like how laid back we are. We're just so chill after listening to this record. Like, man, like I'm straight edge, but I could see if I was a stoner, this would be my favorite Kiss album.
Oh,
Like,
really?
Just like take a blunt and just like relax. to
Carnival
this
of
album.
Souls.
Carnival's. I love Carnival of Souls. That's up there with my
I smoked a
favorite Kiss
lot
album.
of dope listening to Carnival of Souls.
Like,
I mean, which
is
one's-
it good yet?
Which one?
Oh,
Which one
fuck
syncs
you.
up
No, I
best?
love No, like Carnival was one of my favorites. That's probably like in my top 5,
It's
honestly.
a very polarizing Kiss record.
I think the trick is which album syncs up best with 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Ooh.
When listened to, I guess, what
Probably-
five times in a row for
probably
your average
the
Kiss
Elder.
album.
I'll give you that. Probably the Elder.
Yeah.
I know I'd need to be on drugs for that one.
All right, so let's run through the list before we get to number 1, which everyone already knows what it is. But for the sake of dramatic effect, coming in at 10 on the list, Love 'Em and Leave 'Em. Number 9, Ladies' Room. Number 8, See You in Your Dreams. Number 7, Take Me. Number 6, Making Love. Number 5, Calling Dr. Love. Number 4, Baby Driver. Number 3, Mr. Speed. Number 2, Hard Luck Woman. And as voted by the panel, the best song on Rock and Roll Over, the first song on Rock and Roll Over, I Want You. Or as Steve likes to call it, I Want Dudes.
Yep,
Did we all pick this as number 1? I did.
I did.
I picked it as my number 3. I put
What's
Hard
your number
Luck
1?
Woman and Calling Dr. Love as
Oh,
above
okay.
it.
Because there were Peter Criss songs, you know.
Yeah.
Well, no, a Baby Driver I ranked towards the bottom of mine, but that's because there's just so many great songs. But yeah, I Want You is it's a Kiss classic. It's a great album opener.
Definitely.
You know, I like the bait and switch. I'm like, this is gonna be a soft folk song. No, we're gonna rock. Like, yeah, it's great.
I did enjoy the bait and switch, especially if this was on the Tales of Beth.
Right.
They're like our last album had that ballad that was a really big hit.
We're
just
gonna
like,
open it
We're
soft.
going to start with the ballad.
And then-
Suckers, no, it's a rock
Yeah.
song. And then the lyrics got immediately, super weird and creepy. But
Honestly, compared to the rest of this album, they're not that
The
bad.
lyrics on this song are genius compared to the rest of this record. Some
Well,
of the
this
best
is-
lyric writing.
Yeah, because this one, like, I can handle a bit more. Just like, girl, I'm gonna aggressively pursue you, but not to the point of like anything illegal.
That's
You can
later.
hide, but you never get away. Now you're right. Maybe it is kind of creepy. There's nothing you can do. I want you.
I mean, yeah, it's...
Maybe that's why the army didn't use it.
U.S. Army. You can run, you can hide, but you'll never get away.
Once the draft's instituted. No, I think this is a very Zeppelin-y sounding guitar part on this song, and it's definitely him trying to kind of ape Robert Plant on some of the vocals. But that's good. I mean, it just shows where his influence is on his sleeve. This was one that also translated well in the early 90s, like around when Revenge came out. They started putting this back in the set list, and with the Eric Singer, Bruce Kulick version of the band, this song friggin' smokes. I mean, the riffs on this song work no matter what decade they're playing it in. It doesn't sound dated.
I've actually never liked the song live.
Really?
Yeah, I only really like the studio version. For some reason, that extended intro live always just feels weird. I don't know if he's playing it slightly differently, but it doesn't feel like he's like the same as on the recording. I know it's probably just hard to just like jump into that, acoustic riff,
Right.
like just right, on a four
Paul's
count.
always drug it out too long because I think he expects the audience to sing it back to him. And the whole that part, near the I want, that's partially what ruined his voice. He was doing all that acrobatic bullshit he did with his voice back then. But no, I mean I saw them play here on Riverfront for the Gibson anniversary show, and that song was definitely one of the highlights, and the crowd just went nuts for it. I mean, it was really well executed.
I mean, it's a great tune. Like I said, it's never worked live for me, but I think it's also, I love the studio version so much.
do
Where
too.
for me, it's
Yeah.
it's perfect. Where I wouldn't change a thing about the studio version.
Yeah.
Like it's right where it needs to be.
It's also got solos by Paul and Ace in this song.
Right, and that sort of gets echoed in the next album with the opener on
Yeah.
that too. But yeah, this is
It's kind of the band working on all cylinders.
it's great, and it shows musical growth from the band too.
Yeah.
Where there is that good dynamic contrast, which wasn't as common on the earlier record. So it showed them growing as artists
Yep.
and willing to take some more chances and do interesting things. I think it's great. What do you think, Peaches?
On this song?
Yeah. You ranked it as your number one.
I
so-
did. I thought I liked the fake out, and I thought it was a good riff. The only real strike I had against this one was the weird, the creepy lyrics.
Well, welcome to the Kiss discography.
All right, I think this album in particular was pretty rife with that.
As far as the discography of the band, I think this is, of the 70s heyday, this is probably the worst lyrically.
Do you think? I don't know. There's some bad ones on the next one.
Well,
Oh, good.
yeah, but I think Paul, got less rapey on the next album. He was still, aggressive, but he wasn't, just full-on rapey, which he is on this album.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say that it got a little bit better, at least from Paul. Gene kind of stayed as terrible as he was,
Yeah.
but Paul improved and sort of figured out a better sweet spot with the lyrics. And then once you get to the 80s, it's okay, Paul is doing a good job, and then Gene is just still terrible.
I don't know. There's some pretty pathetic lyrics from Paul in the 80s, too.
Right, but they're not rape culture bad.
When your walls come down?
All right, well we'll get to that when we get to that. So.
You'll swallow everything when you're with me. That's actually a lyric from Paul Stanley in the 80s.
Is he starting a cult? Girl, gonna take you down to Jonestown.
Oh God.
It's a
right.
song about Kool-Aid.
Well, so that's our ranking. What did you guys think of the overall results? Was anyone surprised?
Is this the final one?
This is the final right here.
I was surprised that I was so on point for the the top four. Three of the top four were exactly where I put them. I was like, that's not right. I have no idea what I'm talking about. Everything else on the bottom was I was opposite of what it should be. But those three, what?
Overall, mine's relatively close to what it wound up being. So, yeah. But like we said at the outset, they're all kind of in the same league with each other. So it's kind of hard to... There's not as many real peaks and valleys on this. They're all kind of in the same level.
Yeah, it's a lot harder to rank when everything's yeah, all right, we got a bunch of A's.
Now, when you get to the 80s albums, you're going to have some serious disparities between some of these lists.
Once you get to the 80s, it's like, all right, so this is laughably bad, but because it's laughably bad, it's really fun. So, like, how do I feel about Burn, Bitch, Burn?
You're almost going to have to like rank it as a comedy album or as a serious album.
Multiple rankings.
There's some definite unintentional humor going on.
Well, ladies and
Just
gentlemen,
compare this to my favorite Ray Stevens album, you know?
Yeah, although he made more money.
Oh!
Kiss in the 80s didn't do well. But no, there's an interesting, I don't know if you've seen this conspiracy theory going around with fans lately because of the It's My Life fiasco. You've been following that?
a little bit. What's really annoying about that is Gene's set list was very similar to the Kiss cover set that we did.
Okay.
And it was total coincidence, so it took a little bit of our thunder because we got asked to play a Kiss tribute show. We're not a Kiss tribute
Right.
band. You know we're an original band. But we got asked, like, hey, will you do some Kiss covers? We're doing a pretty big show with an Iron Maiden tribute and a Black Sabbath tribute. We're like, yeah, sure, we'll do it. We'll learn some songs. And we're like, let's dig deep. Let's do I and It's My Life. And then I see the videos from the show like, shit, they're doing the same songs as we did. And we thought we were doing, like, the clever deep cuts. Like, Gene never plays I.
And it was his idea for most of them, from what Phil told me.
Yeah, so
So
that...
he's like gotten into the deep cuts all of a sudden.
I
which is
noticed he
great.
forgot to sing the lyrics about I don't need no money, I don't need no fame. No, it's weird how Gene forgot that line from I.
Because he needs money. He needs but no, they did that song, and where was I going?
It's My Life.
It's My Life. Well,
Controversy, Paul Stanley.
yeah. So Paul Stanley, started trying to steal his thunder on Twitter of saying, I wrote most of this song, and I just chose not to use it, which is kind of who gives a shit. It's just like he
Right.
seemed jealous that Gene was getting attention for using that song. But now there's a conspiracy theory that people are like, well, and because, well, I did not Napster bootleg this thing, but I had a friend that bought the Gene Simmons vault, so I've gotten to hear some of the songs off of it.
Mhm.
There's a lot of Gene material from the '80s that didn't make Kiss albums that you'll hear it and you'll be like, why the hell did this not make a Kiss album?
Like stuff that is actually good
Really good.
versus a lot of the garbage that
Versus
ended up on
While the
Kiss
City
albums.
Sleeps and Murder in High Heels and shit like that. And so now there's a fan rumor that Paul Stanley kept all these good songs off the albums and purposely picked the bad Gene songs to make him look bad because he was pissed about Gene doing the acting career.
I mean, that's possible, but maybe that's it. Maybe he just was so jealous of him doing anything outside of the band when even if he brings in good material, like,
Yeah.
no, you're not allowed to have a life outside of this band.
Yep. I'm going to use your worst songs.
But it's so bizarre to me when there's stuff like It's My Life. Like, no, let's just keep rejecting that. I'm going to choose Burn, Bitch, Burn over It's My Life.
Does that make any sense to you?
No,
No.
it doesn't. As a band
I'm going to pick
leader,
the song where you sing about putting a log in a fireplace.
like,
I'm not kidding. Did I spoil it for him?
yeah, you better spoil that. There is
Alright.
a lyric coming up where the lyric is I'm going to put my log in your fireplace.
Golly.
Yeah, so get ready for that episode.
This sort of thing is why when I first joined Lipstick, we're like, what kind of music are we doing? All right, we're going to do songs that use these same stupid metaphors to encourage young girls to study math.
Although that, speaking of, what I was actually about to get into that song. So one of the things where with Lipstick is, I'm pretty much the band leader. I think we can acknowledge that. And so some of the material Steve comes with as the bassist, I'll say, no, let's leave the song off the record because I think you have a better song. And I try to pick his best material, and we went through his songwriting notebook of a bunch of songs and picked out ones that I thought were good. Like, yes, let's put this song on the record because this is a great song. And some of the stuff he specifically wrote for the band, I thought, this is okay, but I think you have stronger material. So to me, it's absolute insanity to no, I'm going to intentionally pick the weaker songs. That makes no sense to me. That is madness.
So I'll write riff rock songs for the band, and Greg will be like, nah, let's go with this nerd punk song that you wrote instead. That's more Lipstick.
Hey, it's a better song. I
I mean,
think
he's probably really just trying to hold you back.
It's true.
yeah,
Yeah.
Like taking all, like rejecting my great
Yeah.
riff rock songs and then taking all my nerd punk songs so that I can't do them in my nerd punk
need
solo
to-
project.
You
No.
got to split away and put out the vault. And charge $2,000 per person.
Oh man, that's it. That's why I'm not selling enough albums. Is I'm not charging $2,000.
That's right.
Yeah, I think honestly every album should have a $2,000 base price because I mean, when you're a band that's talking about like populism and the people, I think there should be like a $2,000 limit to entry fee.
I do happen to disagree. I liked your article, but I do happen to disagree with you on it.
See, when I say people,
And I'm not a guy that's buying it.
When I say people, I think major corporate interests, and I want to make my music available to the people, and only the people, voting with their dollars.
So I'm actually interested into the reason for your disagreement because like Kiss has said, they're a populist band. They're for the people. They're for the average person and not for the critics. And then you have like with me viewing that as like a very elite thing where like if you can't afford the $2,000 base entry fee, you don't have access to the music. And to me that seems problematic like with the consistent message over the years. So it
but
goes against
over,
the message.
over the years when people actually still bought music and they were able to make money.
I and I
Yes,
get that,
I know we're talking about Kiss.
and I get
But-
you have to make a profit. I understand that, but it's been if
It's a dissonance between the message they convey and their actual motivation.
right.
When-
Like
I
if they
doubt
want
they're
to
losing
if they
something.
want to charge what like $4,000 for a giant Sonic Boom or Monster tour book or whatever that thing was, the giant book with the pictures, whatever. That's not the music. For me, a band's most important thing is the music.
No, I'm not saying I don't understand your argument. I do, and it makes sense. But but to explain it though, the PR lines is you're not necessarily buying the music, you're buying the experience, and you get the music as part of the experience.
Right.
But the truth is that he gets tied up in a lot of royalty issues if he sells just the music for this thing.
Right.
If you make it part of an experience where, I'm throwing in these 11 CDs, you don't have to pay people.
Right.
That's why he's doing it.
I mean, no,
He probably still has to pay people.
He does,
Right.
but it's not. But
He's not
it's
losing the
way
money he
less
is.
complicated doing
Right.
it
If
this
you're
way.
selling fewer copies
Yes.
for $2,000,
Right.
you just go with compulsory licensing. Be
Yeah.
like, yes, I have to spend
Yeah.
$100 in royalties for every copy of this CD that I sell.
Right, and that's why he's doing it.
And no, I mean, I understand the economics of it.
But I'm not saying I don't agree with your point. The music should be available, but this is why.
No, I mean, I understand why he's doing it. Like, I get it. It just, it goes against the message of the band.
I doubt they're worried about this.
And I know they're
about
not.
they've contradicted themselves for 40 years.
Yeah, and I get that. It's just, as someone who, resonates with stuff like and It's My Life, it is very just disappointing to see. But the thing that I have with the Vault is it also gives fuel to the fire of people who say that Kiss isn't about the music.
I know it does. Yeah.
And it's disappointing as someone who likes Kiss for the music. Like that is why I like the band. The other stuff like it's cool, you got a comic book, whatever. There's a reason I own a bunch of Kiss records and I don't own any Guar records.
They stopped being about the diehard fans a long time ago. Like that's why you have the cruise. That's why you have the $1,200 meet and greets after the concerts. The last time they gave a shit about regular fans was when Monster came out, and they were so disillusioned by the bad sales of that they were probably just like, you know what, we're done with the diehards. They don't cater to us anymore. They cater to rich people that want to kick the tires and go, oh, it's that band that wears makeup and blows shit up. I'm going to go see them this time.
Yeah, I guess
That's their market.
And I get it, and you got to make money, and this is a terrible market for the music industry. I get it. It's just, it's disappointing to me.
That's definitely disappointing. I'm right there with you.
Because, I would like to, I just want to hear the tunes and enjoy the tunes. And as a guy who has bought every single Kiss album,
Same here.
I would just like the opportunity to buy it at fair market value.
Right.
And, hey, I will pay you, whatever, $250 for this box set. I don't need the action figure, I just want the tunes.
Yeah. Well, that's all I gave a shit about.
But anyway, that's our episode. Please check out Chris at Decibel Geek Podcast. Please don't listen to Three Sides of the Coin because those jerks suck. keeping this
Rude.
feud going.
I'm not saying a thing. I've gotten in enough trouble. Just listen to whatever you want.
Listen to
And
whatever
leave
you
me
want.
alone.
Listen to Decibel Geek. Listen to Pot of Thunder. Pod Kiss FAQ podcast.
Yes.
The lipstick panel.
The lipstick
Podcast
panel. Listen
Rock
to
City.
Podcast Rock City. Listen to Kiss My Collectibles. Listen to everything except for Three Sides of the Coin.
Yo, is this racist? And there's no such thing as a fish and the moth.
All right, and that is our show. Thank you. Good night.
Good night.